chapter starts out with the fact that Meghan was very visually uncomfortable in a lot of her public appearances. She had a very stressed, sort of pained smile. And all of her friends and family back home are noticing this is not the Meghan of old. Tom Bower begins by saying that Meghan enjoyed the spotlight as a principal member of the royal family in around June 2018. The cameras lingered during her first appearance on Buckingham Palace's balcony after watching the Trooping the Colour. But her smiles, close friends thought, looked forced. And this is why. Because she was aggrieved by the royals' commitment to hierarchy during the conversations before stepping onto the balcony, and she disliked the automatic assumption that she was junior to Kate. She believed she should be treated as an equal, and Harry sympathized. How could Harry sympathize? How could, after all these years, being a royal himself, how could he sympathize with that? I mean, he sympathized with her to the extent that he suggested to her there was a reality beyond the one they were living. Like, yes, this is so hard. We need to change it. You can be the modernization and change that, and we can all be equals. That was never on the table. It was never on the table that the two of them were going to come in and like level the playing field and the hierarchy would go straight out the window. A monarchy doesn't work that way. But Harry always let her believe that there was an unfairness here. There's not an unfairness. If you've agreed to this structure and coming into the family means you agree to it, then how can you always be surprised by it? And that's the thing that I'm so surprised by Meghan, is that she's walked into a completely foreign culture and then wonders why it's not like an American thing. It's really, really, again, very low class of her. Have you ever traveled with somebody to a foreign country and they keep wondering why it's not like America? And you're just like, stop it, you're embarrassing me. Like, seriously, stop. I have, on a couple of occasions, traveled with individuals who will remain nameless, one individual in particular, who I just remember being like, I want to go home because this entire vacation has been ruined by your need for this to be like America. It isn't America, okay? And you are shaming us. And that's how I feel about Meghan. I feel like she walked into the royal family and said, why is this not an American institution? Well, wake up, lady. Where are you? 3 days after the Trooping of the Colour and her looking forced and upset, her dissatisfaction became apparent again. Well, now, okay, initially people thought maybe she was getting more comfortable because on this occasion, she had traveled overnight on a train with the Queen. And she and the Queen seemed to have bonded. The Queen, out of the generosity of her enormous heart, had given Meghan a pair of earrings on this train ride, and so Meghan felt all special because she'd been gifted something. She should have. They were probably gorgeous. And Meghan gets off of the train, and she's got this demure smile, and so people are like, okay, maybe she's learning her place here. Like, that she doesn't get to be the center of attention all the time. Maybe she's starting to realize. No. It's too much to hope that Meghan could have realized that she's not going to be the center of attention. Throughout the day, it became noticeable that that smile of demure and diminutive acknowledgement of her position under the Queen, it was all going to the wayside. Because Meghan seemed detached the whole time she was with the Queen. Like, this is boring. When is this going to be over? Like, I guess I've got to go. You know, she just wasn't engaged. She wasn't looking around, interested and connected to her environment. She also refused to wear a hat, and the Queen's aides were aggravated by this, by her disapproval to follow the customs, to follow the cultural expectations. And it was all, it all just showed that Meghan felt like royal life was staid and stuffy, and she was going to have none of it. She wanted all of the privileges of being part of the royal family, but she was reluctant to become steeped in British tradition. And it was evident to the aides that she had already decided to resist the obligations of total commitment to public duty. She's such a spoiled brat. I mean, it's just so bratty. I think that's the thing that I am so annoyed about here. There's no reason why she should have thought these people were going to be normal. And by normal, I mean like, you know, the typical American celebrity. This is not like she, you know, married an A-list celebrity going back generations in Hollywood. This is the monarchy of England. You didn't think there's going to be a couple of things that, you know, were new to you? How do you just bowl in somewhere and decide it's going to be your way? what in the world? Okay, well, it continues to get even weirder. And we start to see Harry and Meghan detaching from the group as like their own little entity and making it really obvious. And that's the other thing I think is real bratty. It's like she can't just be trying to figure it out on her own and being like, this is more difficult than I thought. I'm not saying she couldn't have had a difficult time learning how to be in a family that does things completely different from anybody else's experience on the planet. There would have been a learning curve there. But I think that her decision to be really loud about how hard it was for her is just fundamentally immature. And then getting Harry in there with her and being like, let's be bratty and pout in the corner like a couple of sullen teenagers. That's how she is all the time. I can't even believe people put up with her as long as they did. Well, continuing on in that sullen, pouty teenage behavior. After she returns from London, after having been with the Queen, it's all very ominous. At a leaving party in a private garden at Kensington Palace for Miguel Head, Prince William's former private secretary, Harry and Meghan were the last to arrive. They appeared reluctant to engage with others and left soon after William's speech, despite the fact that he frequently mentioned Harry in the speech. Now, this is what was so surprising about the fact that they were so rude. I mean, first of all, it's surprising that they would be so rude. Don't they have any manners? But the real significance is that Miguel Head had served with Harry in Afghanistan. Okay, so this wasn't just like somebody on the palace staff that he like kind of vaguely knew and had to go to this party. And he really had other engagements that he needed to attend to. No, this is somebody who was with him in the trenches, but he can't be bothered to send this guy off properly and in good fashion. No, not for Harry. That would be too grown up. Miguel Head had been reemployed as a publicist for a corporation in San Francisco. And when he had worked for the royal family, his task had been to, quote, retain a sense of magic and mystery for the royal family. And of course, that had been quite the challenge with Meghan at the helm. How are you going to maintain a sense of magic and mystery when, Meghan's over there laying bare every single thing she possibly can and making up all sorts of things and just being loud and obnoxious and having the circus of her family being loud and obnoxious. That's the theme of this whole chapter. How Meghan can't control the circus that is her family and how she makes no attempt to do so. Okay, so it's real hard to maintain the magic and mystery when you've got Barnum and Bailey right behind you.